My name is Mr. Banks. I'm the assistant principal of the Sullivan. We're very excited. We have over 56 people on this Zoom right now. We're very excited to meet all of our fourth graders. And the goal is to really answer your questions. We're going to give teachers some time to talk. You'll be introduced to some of the other staff members here, and really to help you have a really smooth transition to middle school. One of the things at the Sullivan we talk about all the time is being respectful, being responsible, being kind, and being safe. So we want to make sure that happens all the time when you're at our school. And today's meeting, we'll talk a little bit about some of those things, but the teachers will also talk about all of their plans for you this year, this coming year. And we'll be able to answer some of your questions too. So with that being said, is Dr. Foster on the line right now? Okay, so if he joins us later, I'll have him speak. He's our principal. But at this point, I will turn it over to the fifth grade teachers. And I don't know who wants to go first. And just remind everyone, if you can put yourself on mute. I can put everyone on mute too if we need to. But that would be helpful, at least in the beginning. So, Mrs. Broadhurst, do you want to take over?
Sure. So I'm Mrs. Broadhurst. I teach ELA and social studies. And I'm just very excited to start another year with you guys in the fall. I'm happy that a lot of you showed up today for the Zoom, just kind of a greet and meet. It's kind of an odd way to do it. Typically, you'd be touring my building and coming into our classrooms, and you'd be having a little presentation in the theater. But anyway, we'll make do. So my partner, and I'll let her introduce herself, is Miss Kinney. Unmute yourself.
Sorry, I think I'd be good at this by now. I'm Miss Kinney, boys and girls. I teach math and science with Mrs. Broadhurst. We switch classes, so you'll come to me for math and science and to her for ELA and social studies. I just wanted to make a couple other announcements while I'm on here. So I also am one of the advisors for the STEM club at the Sullivan. So the STEM club is science, technology, engineering, and math. And we meet after school, and basically you get to create whatever science fair project you want. We've had kids do hoverboards, kids do experiments with gardening, different ways to make plants grow. They've done, we have some engineers who come in to help us build things. So that takes place in February every year. There's a science Lowell. So that's super fun. I hope a lot of you guys will join me in that program. I'm also doing Idea Camp this summer. Idea Camp is usually held at UMass Lowell, but because of social distancing and having to be online, they're offering online Idea Camp this summer. And I'm doing crime science for that. And I am also doing a mind-body wellness one for Idea Camp, but there's a bunch of programs and they're free this summer. So it's online, it's free, you can pick up kits, and the Sullivan also has one too, and I'm assuming that they can join the Sullivan camps. Am I correct? Ms. Broadhurst, do we know?
I would imagine she's looking for people. I would imagine it's open to them because technically it's not open to the 8th grade, so.
So that one is super fun too. There's lots of like farm to table, like planting. You'll get your own little garden to take home. You guys will get to pick up kits. And then you'll be meeting with us teachers who are running the different programs once a day. And then we'll walk you through whatever you're supposed to be making and building that day. So that's something that's happening this summer that is super fun, and it is free. And I would strongly encourage you guys to sign up. And if you haven't heard about it, if there's a way that I can either send the brochure, I don't know, to Mr. Banks, and he can forward it to you guys and send that out so you guys have the link to sign up. Very excited to meet all of you, hopefully in person soon.
My sisters talked about that.
Okay, I'm just gonna mute everyone, so you'll have to unmute teachers when it's your turn to speak, okay? So just to backtrack a little bit, fourth graders, our school has 6 teachers in the 5th grade. So they work in partners. One teaches social studies and science, and one teaches excuse me, one teaches math and science and one teaches social studies in ELA. So you just met one of our teams, Miss Kinney and Mrs. Broadhurst. And then we'll introduce you to the others now. So let me just put mute on because there's so many people on here. I want to make sure we can all hear each other. And then you can unmute yourself when it's your time to talk, teachers. Okay, so who's next?
I'll go if you want me to. I'm Miss Pisano, and I teach math and science. And my partner is Mrs. Martin, who might be on, I think, maybe the second page. One great thing about science in 5th grade, you have science every single day, okay? And hopefully if we get back into the building, we'll be able to do a lot of hands-on projects, but we'll figure out something even for projects at home, if possible. And one thing that I really, really, really want to stress is, well, first of all, let me ask you, how many of you know your multiplication facts? Raise your hand if you know your multiplication facts. Oh, wow. Oh, woohoo, that's awesome. That's going to be great. That is one part of 5th grade math. If you know those, it's going to make 5th grade math that much easier for you, okay? And if you don't, if you're still a little kind of shaky on it, you've got all summer to look at it. You have plenty of free online programs that can help you. They're a little bit more fun than just doing flashcards, okay? But it's going to really help you greatly if you can do that. And as some of you heard earlier, I am huge into sports. We love sports. We have a great sports program at the Sullivan School with basketball and wrestling and all kinds of other sports that hopefully if we get back into school, you guys will be able to take part in. We have track and all other kinds of fun things too. But I'm going to leave it over now to my partner teacher, Mrs. Martin, who is awesome. You guys are going to love her as much as I love her. Okay, Mrs. Martin, it's on you now.
Oh, aren't you sweet? Yes, my name is Mrs. Martin. I teach in room 203. I hope that that's where I'll see you next year. The only thing I'd like to say is summer reading is really important too. I know with last year I was at the Moody School for a year with Miss Kinney, and I know one thing that Mrs. Keefe always says is to read a million times. So I hope that over the summer you do read. When you return to school, we do have a little activity in the beginning of the year, a book talk. And we like to keep a list of all the books that you read over the summer. And you get to read whatever interests you. Just keep that mind occupied and keep on reading. It's great for you. So I'm looking forward to seeing you. I hope you have a great summer. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mrs. Martin. And the next team?
I'll go next.
Okay.
Good afternoon. My name is Mrs. Hurley. I teach math and science. And what I just wanted to say quickly is we are a family at the Sullivan, and especially the 5th grade team. We work really well together, and we are so happy to have you all on board with us. So no matter what teacher you end up with, we are all here for you. And we're going to make this year the best year yet, okay? And one fun fact, Miss Pisano is my sister. How cool is that? So we are really family, okay? So.
All right, should I go next? Or?
Yes, and this is Mrs. Johnson.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Johnson. My partner is Mrs. Hurley, whom I adore, and along with all the other teachers, I feel so lucky because this will be my 2nd year with this team, and I can tell you for a fact that you won't find a better, more just encouraging, kind, wonderful group of teachers. I love working with them. And so I teach ELA and social studies, and I think that we're going to have a great year. We'll figure out this online thing. I'm trying really hard to keep what we're doing to be interesting, engaging, as long as, as well as learning. But, and again, what I'd like to say is what Mrs. Martin said was about reading in the summer. It's very important because that way you'll keep your skills strong. And I believe last year the kids had sort of like a little reward when they came back for some reading some books. I think that like the highest level readers might even get to go to appear before the school committee or something like that. I think that happens. So anyways, I just hope that you enjoy the rest of your summer, but please read. I'm excited to learn about all the cool books that you'll read over the summer. Okay, thanks. Oh, and I'm in room 204. Okay.
Thank you. Is Mrs. Kissel on?
I am.
Go ahead, Mrs. Kissel.
Hi, kids. My name's Mrs. Kissel, and I am a special education teacher in 5th grade, and I work with kids in almost all of the classrooms, and then some kids that need to work with small groups, we meet in small groups as well. It's been challenging to help everyone the way that we've been doing it since March 13th, but we've used the programs RAS Kids and Lexia, and for kids that need help with reading, those have been really great. So if you know how to use those and you've had them in your elementary schools, we're going to continue using them next year as well. But hopefully we all get to be in person too, because that makes it the best. And like all the teachers have said, the 5th grade team at the Sullivan School, and I'm jaded, but it's the best team at the Sullivan School. So it doesn't matter what teacher you get, they're all awesome. I am so lucky because I get to work with all of them. So looking forward to starting next year. Can't wait to meet you all.
Thank you. Are there any other teachers on board that haven't spoken yet?
I think just me, Miss Sirota.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mrs. Sirota.
Hi, I'm Miss Sirota, and I'm one of the special ed teachers. I have a classroom that's downstairs, and you might not see me very often, but I'm always there, and I work very closely with the 5th grade teachers. I hope to get to meet some of you in the 21st Century program. I'm doing cooking this summer and hope to do cooking again when we go back to school in the after-school program. So hopefully I'll get to meet a bunch of you in that area. But if you see me around the school, make sure you say hi. And if you ever need help or a break, sometimes my room is available for you to come and have a quiet place to think and gather your thoughts.
Thank you, Ms. Sirota. Ms. Sirota brings up a point that I wanted to talk to you guys about. We have a big after-school program in our school. So after school every day, if you join it, you'll stay at the school till about 4:30, 4:45. You'll get a snack, you'll be able to do some homework, and you'll get more food as well. And we have a large offering of different activities. This past year, there was drama, dance, sports, all different cooking, all different types of activities based on what teachers propose and what they teach after school. We have some other people that work with us too, not just the teachers in the school. So it's a wonderful opportunity to get involved after school with some great clubs. In addition to that, we have some of the regular middle school sports that are offered. Cross country, we have a huge cross country program. Last year, we had some of the best runners in the city, in our 6th graders especially. So we're looking forward to a great team again. And if you're interested in running or just trying it out to see if you like it, there's meets every week at Shed Park. It's a really nice event. So that's in the fall. You'll hear about that. And we also have a band program, which is great. So if you play an instrument, or even if you never have played an instrument, you can get involved in that. We have basketball and volleyball. Basketball in the winter and volleyball in the spring. In addition, we also have a wrestling program. One of our phys ed teachers, Mr. Sheehan, is a great wrestling coach. So he has a program for anyone that might be interested in that. And we actually have a meet with, I think, the Butler School. And he's trying to get more schools involved too. So that's kind of a small program that only a few schools offer that is interesting. So keep that in mind. I see Dr. Foster on board now. Do you want to say a few words, Dr. Foster?
Yes, that would be great. Thanks, Mr. Banks. Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Foster. I'm the principal, at least for this year. I won't be coming back next year. But I wanted to say hello I've heard a lot about you. We had some meetings probably about a month ago with your teachers, had said some wonderful things about you guys. And I know the school's very excited to have you up. The teachers is excited. Raise your hand if you can keep a secret. Raise your hand, kids. Adults too. Yeah, this is important for adults too. Thank you, Mr. Rhoda. The 5th grade team is my favorite team in the school. Don't tell the other grades, they're gonna get upset, but this team is fabulous. The teachers there are fabulous. I oftentimes go up there and I hide away if I need a few minutes to relax a little bit. And also I use Mr. Rhoda's room as well. Very inspiring to visit, but this team is fabulous. You're gonna be learning a lot next year. They do a lot of neat activities with PBIS, reward incentives for acting and behaving well. I know there's lots of activities, there's field trips, I know there's movie nights that we do, there's socials that we do. I mean, you guys are in for a fantastic year next year. I know it's a little different, it's kind of, you know, with the remote and all this stuff, but I'm certain, I know that your team of teachers are going to be really brainstorming and figuring out different ways to make it a lot of fun for your 5th grade team. It's a fabulous team. But I just wanted to welcome you aboard. You're in good hands. Keep working hard right to the end. I know I'm at the school right now, and I just saw all the summer reading books in the library. Mr. Banks, we have a lot of work to do. Miss Dr. Lowe is in there organizing them. I know you guys got some too from your schools, collected them yourselves. Work hard with your summer reading and your summer math, and that is right, that the kids who do the most, and it always seems to be 5th graders, I'm going to say, but we go to school committee and you get to go on TV and basically be given an award to say, hey, nice job with the summer reading, you did really well. And that's the same thing with the summer math. So great to have you aboard. I think you're going to have a fantastic year next year. And listen, have a great summer as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Foster. I also see our guidance counselor on. Ms. Stappen, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Miss Stappen. I'm the guidance counselor here at the Sullivan. I hope that I get to meet you all next year in person, but whether we're remote or at the Sullivan, me and Mr. Thompson, who he'll probably say a couple words afterward as well, we're always available. You'll see us running around the building, quite literally running around the building, dealing with anything, and we're here for you guys. So if you ever need a break or someone to talk to, or are kind of having issues with a friend and need to talk it out, that's what we're here for. So we go into classrooms and we're kind of there for you guys. So I'm excited to get to know you all and have a great summer.
Thank you. Mr. Thompson, I see you on board too. He is our social worker. Some of you that got on here a little early might have heard that he's a Yankees fan. So I'm sorry about that, but we still love him. He's a great social worker. You know, everyone has their flaws, but Mr. Thompson, would you like to say a few words? If you can just unmute yourself.
Give him a chance. He's a Yankee person. They're slow.
Go ahead.
Well, okay. Good afternoon, guys. Yes, I'm Mr. Thompson, and I am the school social worker. And like what Ms. Stappen was saying, if there's ever a problem, anything that's bothering you throughout the day, you can come to see either myself or Ms. Stappen, and we'll try to work everything out for you. Because the main thing we would like to see is that you have a real good experience, a good time at school. That when you come into school every day, you know, you feel good about it. You're going to see your friends. You know, you'll be enjoying your teachers, and you won't have to worry about anything. But if you did end up worrying about something, we would be able to help you work it out right away. And you'll see me in the hallways all the time, coming into the classrooms, in the cafeteria. I really like to get to know as many students as I can. So I look forward to that. And I always look forward to meeting new Yankee fans too. So we'll see you in September.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. I just wanted to talk a little bit about PBIS. It was mentioned, but one of the programs we have at our school is to really recognize students that are following our expectations and giving them some incentives, because it always feels good to be recognized when you're doing the right thing. So when students are being safe, being respectful, being responsible, and being kind, teachers will give them what we call a little B card. Some of you might have had something like this in your schools now. And those cards can be turned in for prizes. Some kids are called down to the office every morning and they get recognized over the PA system. They get to choose a little prize. Some teachers have their own plans in their classroom. And I know the 5th grade team has a great plan where they allow you to save up some of the cards to purchase some things from their little school store. So it's a great program. Some kids like to hold on to those tickets and buy things with a lot. Some kids like to turn them in quicker. So there's a lot of ways that you can be recognized at our school. It's a very positive experience, so we're looking forward to that. The other thing I wanted to mention is, and I'll throw this out to the teachers, when will the students find out about their school supply list? Will that be later this summer?
If I could speak to that, Mr. Banks.
Go ahead.
I did share, this is Mrs. Hurley again, I did share with the administrators from all 3 buildings the school supply list. I can, if I have a minute, I can share it if you want me to, but it's pretty self-explanatory. What's most important that we don't want pencil boxes. We want the pencil case with the 3 holes in it that you can put into a binder. And it's important under the circumstances of this year that they need to have their own art supplies, crayons, markers, things like that, because I doubt they'll be able to share them next year. So they can have an art box, like a pencil box for those things, but we're asking that they get a pencil case with the 3 holes in it.
Okay.
And pencils, boxes and boxes of pencils, please.
And
Mrs. Hurley, was that list going to go home with their report cards? Do you know?
Yes, that was sent to the administrators at the Moody, Lincoln, and Riley. So I'm sure they'll get sent home. Up, I see Mrs. Scannell. Hi, Mrs. Scannell. I'm sure they'll get those in the report cards. They did last year, so I'm sure they'll get there with their report cards.
Great, thank you.
And Mr. Banks, I just want to say one more thing.
Sure.
I have a partnership with Domino's Pizza, and what we were doing to encourage attendance, because attendance is huge to be a good student and to learn. So on Fridays, we'd do raffles every Friday. If you had perfect attendance, we'd give you guys a free 1-topping pizza from Domino's. So just keep that in mind. I see his eyes lit up over there. So if you like pizza, you can earn tons of pizza, okay? So keep that in mind. Attendance is important.
Yeah, that was a popular prize this year. When kids came down to the office, they often chose that one. It was really a popular one. Thank you for doing that, Mrs. Hurley. So I do see Mrs. Keefe from the Moody School. Would you like to say anything? Just unmute.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having this tour for us. It's nice to see so many familiar faces. And yes, the supply list will go home with report cards at our school. And what Miss Martin said, the thing that I tell my students all the time is there are 10 things that you should do every single day. Who from the Moody knows what that is? Ava, unmute yourself.
Read.
Read. So it's read, 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 and read. That is the best thing you can do for yourselves. I hope everyone has a wonderful summer. And I know that you're going to love the Sullivan School. I live right near the Sullivan School, and all of my daughters went to that school. So it's wonderful. You have wonderful teachers. And I'm so happy to see Mrs. Hurley, Mrs. Kelly, and Mrs. Martin. They were with us last year as 5th grade teachers and our math resource teachers. So thank you again for having us.
Thank you, Mrs. Keefe. Mrs. Scannell, would you like to say anything? I see you on here. Just unmute yourself, yep.
I just want to say hi. I see a lot of familiar faces from our school and some new faces must be from the Riley. You're going to have a lovely group of kids. They'll be very respectful, and I hope you'll enjoy them as much as we did. So guys, have a great summer, and don't forget, read and practice your facts.
Great. Thank you, guys. Thank you. So I'm going to open it up to some questions now. If you want to unmute yourself and ask a question, or I'll open up the chat room. You could type a question out if you have one in mind. Anyone have a question?
They're a shy group.
You should be able to type it in too. Is anyone typing one?
Hi, I have a question.
Go ahead.
As far as the start of the school year, I know it's going to be a little bit staggered. Academically wise, are they going to come flying right out of the gate, or are we going to do a refresher?
Are you talking about in terms of the COVID
Curriculum.
situation?
Yeah, the curriculum. I mean, the kids at home has been a little bit slow here, so to bring the kids up to speed.
Curriculum, yes. Yeah, I would imagine that we'll definitely need to do that. Yes. I think we always do a little review, in the fall anyway, but teachers will definitely are aware of that. We're all aware of that. We'll need to go back a little bit.
Do they have a plan? Do they have a plan ready for the start of school?
Absolutely. I mean, in terms of curriculum, teachers, yes, they will work. If they need to go back, they'll go back. They will assess their students in their classrooms and determine where everyone is.
Right. I mean, as far as how many kids coming into school,
So in terms of the COVID situation, that's being worked on now. The plan in Lowell, there's 3 task forces that are involved in looking at remote learning, a hybrid model, which could involve some remote learning, some in class, and full in class. There's 3 different plans being developed because unfortunately we don't know, what the end result will be yet. So it is being worked on though by a lot of people. Thank you for your question. Yep, good question. I see a few questions on here from some of the kids, so I'm just going to, it says our 5th grade is able to join sports teams. Yes, definitely, you can join them. Some are tougher than others, right? Because in basketball, it's a little bit of a limit. So sometimes that can be a tough one as a 5th grader, but I would encourage you to try out for everything. Cross country is definitely a program. It's great for 5th graders because there's tons of kids out there. But yes, all the sports are open to all the kids in our school. And can incoming 5th graders take part in the Sullivan summer program? I think we talked a little bit about that already. Does anyone know, Dr. Foster, you do know that one?
I don't believe so. We haven't been planning for that, but we should probably talk to Mr. Silva.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't believe that's the case, and not incoming.
Right.
But it's something we could probably check out.
Okay, we'll check it out, and we'll put information out to the principals if we find out anything more on that. One of the questions was, when will we find out teacher assignments? That's not until the week before school starts. You'll be getting a notice, and we post them at the school, and you'll find out then. So that's not for quite a while. Let's see. I'm just reading some of the questions that came to me. What's the daily schedule like? That's a great question. Would one of the 5th grade teachers like to take that on?
Sure, I'll do it.
Thank you.
So the schedule, you're going to go between your 2 teachers that are on your team. So normally it would be first thing in the morning. There's usually about 20 minutes. So school starts at 7:20 and the late bell is 7:40. And that's usually the time that kids will write in their agendas, all their homework, which will be posted on the board for you. And then we start right out of there. So you'll either have your math or your ELA. I mean, I'm going by last year's schedule. That could change, but you'll have a 90-minute block for math and then 90 minutes of ELA. You will have about 45, 50 minutes of science, and the same with social studies. And somewhere in there, you'll also have allied arts. This past year, we had art, gym, music, drama, and health. But sometimes that changes from year to year. So we'll find that out in the fall as well. And then we are out of school at usually 2:08. So that's one of the earliest schools to start and the earliest one to end, which is nice. So you guys can get home and get work done and still have daylight to go out and play and do everything else. So it's a pretty good schedule. And all of our fifth graders have always said that it goes by so fast. The days fly by really quickly. And teachers say the same thing. So it's a pretty fast-paced, quick thing that we do. While I'm open, I think it's Braden Brothers had a question. Did you have a question, Braden? Okay, do you want to ask your question? Unmute yourself.
Yes. Does the school have periods, or does it just is it like time before classes, or is it just like class to class?
There's usually so we it's class to class. There's usually about a 5-minute break in between classes where you get your books piled up and going from one class to another. You have lockers at the school. So the first thing in the morning, you go to your lockers. That's one of the favorite things fifth graders do. The first thing they come in the door, when do we get our lockers? You put all your stuff, get all your stuff out that you need for the day, and you'll get to your lockers the last thing of the day to pack up and everything else as well. But it's usually about a 5-minute break in between to get you guys all set. And your teachers are really good with, okay, guys, we need to start wrapping things up and getting ready for your next class. So a lot of times what we'll try to do is try to have you moving. So what you'll do is you'll have, say, math with me, for example. Then you go to Mrs. Martin for social studies. For ELA. And then you have social studies right after that, or maybe after lunch. And then you come back to your homeroom, which could be to me, to finish off with science for the day. But it really does go by very, very quickly. And we get a lot done. It's amazing by the end of the day how much we do get finished if Miss Pisano doesn't go on her tangents of her storytelling. But everything else usually gets done. So.
Ava Rose, I see your hand up. Do you want to ask your question? Just unmute yourself.
Do we go by a bell, like after 5 minutes the bell dings, or does the teachers just tell us?
The teachers will just tell you, and you'll have your schedule, but there's no bells in our school. I think we have one bell in the morning just to remind students of the late bell, and but that's it. We don't have bells, but you'll get to know your schedule quickly, and you'll see. Oh. Yeah, so the teachers will remind you. Good question. I see a few more questions in the chat that are to me. Fifth graders on the student council. I know we've done different things with that. Is that for fifth graders, teachers?
No.
No.
Yeah, this we could consider that. We kind of look at it every year. This past year was just 7th and 8th graders.
Yeah.
But each school, each homeroom, they did report to each homeroom and talked with the kids and about kept them up to speed on a lot of the things that were happening. Mm-hmm. So that may change next year, but right now it's just 7th and 8th graders around the school council.
Thank you. And I see Mrs. Reynolds on here from the Moody School. Do you want to ask one of your questions? If you can just unmute, yeah.
One of my students just texted me on my phone. They're wondering if there's going to be programs like an LLI, a leveled literacy instruction to help kids that struggle with reading.
Okay, teachers, can we address that?
Yes, we have some kids that struggle with reading. They still get LLI and they go to Dr. Lowe, and we have some tutors that work with the kids, and they do use the LLI stuff, and that would be considered intervention. And in previous years, it's been in place of having social studies. You would go to LLI intervention, or there are some kids that also get math programs too.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
I also, while I'm speaking, I just emailed Mr. Silva that's running our summer school program, and she said that the 4th graders at the Riley and the Lincoln have their own program, and we are not having the 4th graders participate in our program this summer.
And Mrs. Keith, did you have some more information about that?
Yes, I was going to mention that the fourth grades at both schools are open to others because they don't have enough enrollment. And at the Moody School, we're in the middle of getting a proposal put together so that we can keep our computers and work at our schools. But we have been invited to also apply for the Riley and the Lincoln programs. They're longer, it'll be different than our program, but we have a very large ELL population. So Mrs. Catalano is on with us. She is our Portuguese speaking tutor. I don't know if, I know that a lot of the students, if she can let them know in her meetings, that we're working very hard to get that program still up and running, but it's going to be for everyone. It's not going to be 4 hours a day, 4 days a week like the Riley and the Lincoln. So people are welcome to join that too.
Great.
I don't know if anyone has any more questions or need clarification about that. The other thing I want to say is I think someone did mention the Idea Camp, and there is another program that they don't have the flyer for yet that's coming out. It's a STEM program, July 29th, for a week at the Wang School. And I think that's for fourth graders too, but I have not seen the flyer.
Okay, thank you,
You're welcome.
Mrs. Keith. One of the students asked if they have lockers next to each other. We generally, yes, the lockers are next to each other, but I'm assuming we'll have to make some changes with that scenario based upon, if we're going back to the building, we may have to spread things out a little bit. And another student asked if we're still having recess. And normally, yeah, we normally do have recess. Again, I'm talking about in the past, so I'm not quite sure what this current year will look like, but normally everyone in our school has 15 minutes of recess. You'll get a lot more information about the changes if there are going to be changes as we get closer to the fall. And I see, let me see if there's any other questions on here. The normal school hours are 7:20 to 2:10. And I think that's it for the chat questions for now. Any other questions from students? If you want to just raise your hand, I'm going through all the pages here, so.
I see Ava Rose has her hand up.
Okay, go ahead, Ava.
My mom works till 4, and she doesn't have enough money to get me in the Y. So do we have to pay for the after school program in middle school?
No, there's no payment. It's free.
Oh, okay.
Good question. Okay, are there any other questions? Does anyone else from the staff want to say anything? Anyone that I missed?
Do you have a start date for school? Is it before Labor Day?
Yes, it's always I think it's Tuesday before Labor Day. But again, I would stay tuned to everything that's going on. And but normally, yes, it would be the Tuesday before Labor Day. Okay.
I just want to say if we have a lot of parents in the audience that it will be important, hopefully when we do get back to school, or if not, that you sign up for Class Dojo, which I think a lot of teachers at the Moody use already. It's a great communication tool, so we really want to, communication's really important, especially during this time. So just keep an eye out for those type of things. If we send you an invite, Class Dojo or Class Tag, it's just a communication tool that helps us basically help you. Thank you.
Also, it'd be great, again, having parents out there to join our PTO. I can't say enough about the PTO that we have at our school. They're second to none. They're wonderful, and obviously it'd be great to have 5th grade parents in on everything to see what's going on, and it's a wonderful organization. So we really appreciate any support that we could get. Thank you.
I have a question from someone in the chat that is asking if English learners will receive pull-out services or would they be pushed in? And we do have a newcomers program in our school. We have 3 teachers that teach English learners, and we offer both of those services depending upon the student. Some students get services through a pull-out model, and some get support as the student is in the mainstream classroom. So yes, we have both of those services.
Could I ask about that?
Yes.
Heidi Upton, I'm the EL teacher at the Moody. Will the students be in this newcomer program all day, or is it just for a certain amount of time?
It varies based on the students, how we assess the student. So some students are in it all day, except for allied arts. But many students are in for part of the day and out for part of the day, depending on their level.
And will they be placed in the 6 teachers that we met today from 5th grade? Will they be placed in their homerooms on the first day of school and then find out that they might be put into a newcomer program?
Yes, they'll be placed in regular homerooms. That's correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. One student asked, is it okay if my sister helps me with work because she went to the Sullivan? I think that's awesome. Yeah, use your sister, definitely. Juan, thank you for asking that. I would definitely, the more help you can get, the better, right? And she'll probably know the teachers and how you can do well. So that's a great question. How many kids are in one room? Normally, our class sizes at the Sullivan range from anywhere from 20 to 25, 27, even a little higher in the 5th and 6th grade sometimes. But again, that will probably change a lot based on some of the things that are happening. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. Okay. Is there a bike rack? Great question. Yes, there is. I would encourage you to wear your helmet if you're riding your bike to school. I think you have to wear your helmet. And lock up your bike in front of the school. There is a bike rack. That's correct. Good question. All right, I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything. Mrs. Johnson wanted me to remind everyone that students should get a good night's sleep before school. Mrs.
Thank you.
Johnson, you want to talk about that?
Well, sometimes I've had kids that have been they tell me they've stayed up a little too late, either maybe online or playing a video game or something. And where we have such an early start, I really want to encourage parents to be mindful of how much sleep the kids are getting, because that really impacts the learning during the day. So if they could get a good night's sleep, I would encourage them to, maybe start practicing a week before school starts, just getting used to it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
One student asked, will classes be mixed with other grades? No, right? I don't think there's any time. Some of our programs, like the ELL, you might have some mixing, but for the majority of the time, you would be only with your grade. That includes academics, allied arts, lunch, recess. You're only with your grade. And we have it set up in our school where each grade has kind of a wing. The 5th grade wing is upstairs, on the left side of the building. So the kids will all be in that area, all the 5th graders. The 6th graders are kind of in the middle of our school on the 2nd floor, and the 7th graders are down the end. And we keep the 8th graders all on the 1st floor. So it's a nice setup, and you will be, with your peers. So that's a good question. If we are online, the students will be using what platform? Teachers, you want to talk about that?
I can. Most likely we'll be using Google Classroom, posting agendas and assignments, and then we'll be incorporating other online programs, and then some of just creating our own documents and that kind of thing. But we typically use Google Classroom as our base program.
Thank you. Someone asked if there was a singing program. We do have our general music class. We do have instrumental music. I don't know if there's a singing program per se. Sometimes different programs are offered in the after-school program, so that would be something to keep an eye out for. But in the past, we've also had talent shows where we recognize, students that are into singing. So that's another good question. And I see Braden. Do you want to ask yours?
Which floor is the fifth grade gonna be on? Is it gonna be the top or the bottom?
The top floor. The top floor.
The penthouse, that's what we call it, the penthouse. Only the best for us.
Mr. Banks, you want to mention that we have band available as well?
Yep, yep. We do have band. So if you play an instrument, you definitely want to, sign up for band and get involved in that. We have an instrumental band teacher that comes to the school and teaches music to those students.
And we're very easy building, by the way. I know a lot of kids, sometimes they're nervous about getting lost in a building for the first time. And we're like 2 long football fields. That's all we are. We're just straight lines, bottom floor, top floor, and that's it. So it's very easy to find your way around our school. Very easy.
Yeah, and don't, it's funny you say that because one of the questions was, I just saw, what happens if we get lost? So don't worry, okay? We have, like Ms. Pisano just said, is 2 long hallways, that's it. And there's tons of adults everywhere. So if you do get lost, just ask someone, we'll point you in the right direction. It's not hard though, you'll be fine. And most of the time you're gonna be with your own kids, your own grade anyway, and just going from one class to the next, not too far. And if you go a little bit farther than that for the gym or allied arts, and the teachers will walk you down there and pick you up. So you'll get used to the school, but it's nothing to worry about.
And Mr. Banks, don't we have specific doors that the 5th graders come in from the buses? Am I right?
Yes, yeah. So yeah, on the first day of school, the buses will be out in the back if you take a bus, and we'll have tons of staff members out there that will be directing you right up the ramp to the door that you go in, and you'll get used to that. If you're a walker or your parents drive you, they'll come to the front of the building. We have like a loop out there, and your parents will drop you off there. There will be staff members there as well that will direct you to where you need to go. Someone did ask if we have a drama class. This year we did have drama for allied arts. It was one of our classes, but things do change from time to time with allied arts. And also just keep in mind that it's also been a club at our school. So if you're interested in drama, I think you'll be able to find an outlet. From another student wrote, how often do the bubblers get cleaned? That's something, a great question with what's going on. In the past, of course, they were cleaned often by the custodians, but now there will have to be some new guidelines. I'm sure that all that stuff will be addressed. And I'm sure if we're even able to use the bubblers, I'm not sure about that, or if we'll have different ways of making sure we get water. But it's a good question. We're all going to be concerned about that. We want to make sure everything will be clean and safe for you when you come into our school. And another question about when we will know who our teachers are. Again, that won't happen until much later, really like a week, a few days before the start of school. So it will be posted, and we'll send out a message to parents on how to find that information. Okay, anything else? You guys are a great audience. I really want to thank you for joining us today. This was recorded, so we'll put it out there. If anyone wasn't able to make it, I'll send the information to the principals of the Moody and the Riley and the Lincoln, so that the other kids that couldn't make it, or their parents, will be able to find out where they can watch this from. If you have any other questions in the meantime, go to the Sullivan School website. My email's on there. I'm Mr. Banks. I'm the assistant principal. You can ask me any question from parents or students. Just email me. Our phone number is still working every day. So you can also call the school, and someone will answer your phone call if you want to ask that way.
Can I make one quick comment before we end?
Sure.
I just want to compliment the people at the Sullivan. We have a son who's graduating this year, actually. And his experience at the Sullivan was the best of all of his years in school. He loved it so much. He was involved in different things. And I just want to say thank you. And also for people who might be sending a rising 5th grader for the first time. It's a wonderful school, and we've been really happy, and we're really excited to get back. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. It's nice
Thank
to
you.
hear.
Thank you very much. What a great way to end.
It's made my day.
Thank you.
So I just want to say one thing, Mr. Banks. Again, have a great summer. Finish off strong. Have a great summer. And I know you'll have a fantastic time at the Sullivan next year. So take care.
Alrighty.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Keep in touch and ask your questions. If you think of something later, don't be afraid to call the school or email.
Can I
Bye.
say something before we go?
Have a good day.
Bye.
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 You want to say bye?
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, Declan.
Hi, Declan.
Bye.
All right. Take care, guys.